Joining us, Senate Armed Services Committee member and Trump surrogate Markwayne Mullin. Mark, Senator, good to see you. I got to tell you, every time I see this administration respond to the deaths of these 13 American soldiers, I get more angry. Kirby coming to politics and the timing of the release, as opposed to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and everyone who had a command position apologizing to the parents of those who were lost and saying, we're sorry, we messed up.
Yeah, Sean, I was sitting beside Joni Ernst there at the ceremony, and I looked at her and I said, out of respect for the parents, I'm here, but the inside of me is boiling. I mean, I was on my way to Afghanistan, the team that I was working with when the Advocate blew up just hours before we entered the airspace, and it was sickening. And it's been sickening ever since the way you see this administration handle this. First of all, I was on the Intel Committee and on the House at the time, and I will tell you without question, Sean, they scrapped Donald Trump's entire plan and refused to even interact with anyone that had anything to do with that plan, and they went at it their own. The DOD wasn't making administration. The White House was making decisions. The White House was making decisions. And I will tell you, since that disastrous withdrawal, no one's been held accountable. So they want to talk about the timing of this, Sean. They could have had plenty of time to come to Congress. They could have been transparent from day one, but they weren't. I mean, where has been Secretary Blinken? Where is Secretary Blinken when I asked him the question down in the skiff, what happened to Ambassador Promagine when we were trying to get the first Americans out of Afghanistan through the Panjshir Bridge into Tajikistan? That was my group and I that I was working with. That we were trying to get them out. The first group, a mother and her 3 kids that were Americans from Texas. And Ambassador Promagine personally told me, Congressman Mullin, I'm sorry, but Washington, not D.C., said Washington told me not to assist you in any way. In any way. Who told the ambassador of Tajikistan not to assist us in any way? Who was there that made a decision with Advocate to begin with to close the gate, push everybody back, and make it crowded after there was an individual that went in there? Why isn't General Donahue, who was in the base at the time in HKIA, where was he at, or the airport, I guess? Where was he at? Why hasn't he been in front of it? Why is General McKenzie already retired and General Milley already retired and never once testified in front of Congress on the disaster withdrawal? Why hasn't Secretary Blinken been transparent about it? Where's the people that should be held accountable, and why they haven't showed up in front of Congress? Because this administration is protecting them.
John Kirby, before we move on, Senator, John Kirby said that there was a lot to be proud of with the withdrawal, and he didn't see any chaos. Remember when he said that, despite people hanging off airplanes? Remember that? And the audacity of that man to target Republicans for the timing of this report, when the White House released its first after-action report to blame Trump and his administration for their failings on Maundy Thursday, to bury it. They blithely lie and incompetently lead, and they show nothing but heartlessness. But I want to move on to this.
Dagan, let me tell you real quick, the #1 issue we had with getting AMCETs, American citizens, out of Afghanistan after this administration tucked tail and left them there on August 30th, what the #1 adversity we had wasn't the Taliban. We figured out how to work with the Taliban because we simply had to pay them. It was the State Department that blocked us at every section that we went to. Every time we tried to take them out, they blocked us constantly. And these weren't SIVs, Special Immigration Visa. These were AMCETs, American citizens. And the State Department did not want the story to get out that they left Americans behind, because the story they were telling everybody was every American that wanted out could have got out. We know that's a flat-out lie.
You know, Senator, if you're a Democrat, when you fail, you don't get fired, you get promoted. That's what Kamala Harris is trying to do right here and tonight. Let's move to this, though, because Harris claims her values, they haven't changed. But like you say, Senator, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. In 2019, Harris filled out a questionnaire for the ACLU where she checked the box in favor of decriminalizing drug possession, taxpayer-funded gender transition surgeries for detained immigrants and federal prisoners, and cuts in funding for ICE. Listen, Senator, she can change all she wants today, but when she had free reign to tell us who she was, to your point, she told us she's a radical liberal.
The proof's in the pudding, and
Yeah.
we say that all the time in Oklahoma. She's obvious what she said she is. She can play this moderate game all she wants. Remember, Bernie Sanders this weekend on the Sunday talk show host said it very clear. He says that she's going to say what she needs to do to get elected, but she hasn't changed who she is or her policies, positions. Remember, when she was in the Senate, Sean, she was to the left of Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is a socialist. I'm not calling him that. He calls himself a socialist. And she was to the left of him. The idea that we're even considering putting someone to the left of a socialist in the White House is absolutely mind-blowing.
Unacceptable. Senator Markwayne Mullin, always a pleasure to see you. Thank you for being with us on The Bottom Line. Always wonderful.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I looked at you and said, Sean, what does she stand for? Would you say?
I can't remember.
No, you said herself.
Oh, herself. That's right.
Thank you, Senator.